Hello guys, and welcome to Chengi's World. So thank you so much for joining me. I absolutely enjoy meeting you guys and doing these videos. So I'm hoping that you guys will really enjoy this video. And today's video is entitled When You're Not Feeling Him and You Just Don't Know Why and What to Do About It. Okay, now this is, yes, it is feeling him or feeling her. It's for both genders, because I really believe that both genders can really benefit from this, because it happens to both of us. Now, before I go ahead and talk about this, make sure you subscribe and you like, share, comment, and see me on Instagram and Facebook and Chengi's World, where we will continue these conversations as we go along and we can get to know each other a little bit better. So back to the subject. Basically, what happens? Have you ever had that moment, guys, where you just weren't feeling someone? Everyone is like, girl, or dude, what a great girl that is. She's wonderful, she's educated, she's smart, she's loving, she's caring, and everything on paper says, yeah, or for us girls, that guy's amazing, or you meet this guy and everything on paper is just like tick, 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 and all the credentials are there for a great mate, and really you should be jumping for joy. You should be feeling like, yeah, but something about you is just like, I don't know, I'm not feeling him. There's just no attraction. There's nothing compelling you to that other person, even though really you should be like, I got a winner here. Now that can happen for one or two reasons. Number one is the chemistry between people is based on so many factors, and a lot more instinctive and more primal than we actually think. Sometimes the way a person smells, the smell might put you off, even though everything about them is perfect. And the smell, it represents to you what is important to you for you to survive. So smelling your mate is actually the number one thing in the world of dating. Is you must smell somebody to know whether or not you're compatible, you have the chemistry, because we all put out a smell and it doesn't always get on. So sometimes it's that simple, it's that primal. We're looking for a certain scent in somebody, but also most importantly, and sometimes it's just a physical thing where there is no natural attraction. You're not attracted to them physically, and you just can't bring yourself. The idea of kissing them or being with them sexually just makes you think, it's just not happening for you. I know for you guys it might be a little bit different, because as long as the lights are off and it's on and popping, but certainly for us girls, if the idea of it, and it might seem like a non-important, non-valid point when you tell your friends, I'm just not feeling him like that, I mean there's nothing there, and they're like, but why not? You're just too picky, you're just too much, but you have to realize that long term in a relationship, the sexual chemistry is really important to keep a relationship going, to give it validity, because unfortunately the difference between friends and people in a romantic relationship is that the people in a romantic relationship, in terms of have a sexual attraction to one another that differentiates between friends, where there is no mutual sexual attraction, where maybe one person is attracted to the other, another one is not, or none of them are attracted to each other. So that's the difference between a male-female friendship and a male-female relationship. So you have to have some kind of physical chemistry. There must be something about that person that makes you think, even if it's in a very, very, very subtle level. I'm one of those people who I get turned on by the way a man thinks and the way that he speaks to me and the way that he is. So when that is triggered, then naturally my chemistry responds to him physically, but not, it doesn't work like that for every woman. I know a friend of mine she just loves the muscles, like just show her the muscles, baby. She likes that. That's what works for her. You don't even have to get into her brain, you just need to show her the muscles, because she's wired differently. So we're all very different, but at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're selecting somebody who you have some sexual chemistry with. Believe me, it's not enough to not have any sexual chemistry. But most importantly, there's a spiritual element that I really want to talk about and discuss some more, because we don't ever really give it credence. I've been in situations more than once where I've met this guy and everything on paper is perfect. He's just perfect. He's everything I've wanted and dreamt of, but something in me just kept saying, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. And I have, of course, been the rational person that I can be, and the objective person that I can be, certainly when I'm in relationships. I try as much as possible. I decided, you know what, I'm going to give this guy a chance because, you know, let's give him a chance. And so I overrode that feeling, thinking, you know, he might do or say something or show me a part of himself that will trigger that attraction I'm not feeling at the moment. And I remember going on a date with one such guy, and when I arrived, everything, I think we'd met online, and when I arrived at the date, everything about him repelled me. It was just repelling. I just wanted to get back in my car and drive home. I just wanted to not be there, to the point where he was like, you know, you could always go to the toilet, come back outside and say something's happened and you need to go because it's totally fine. I think he could just tell that I was like not interested, and because he said that, I felt bad. So I thought, okay, get out of this mood. And we spent the rest of the evening laughing, talking about movies. We just found this rapport, but I did the override on my system, and we had a really wonderful, pleasant evening that turned out to be semi-romantic. It was actually quite nice, and I actually thought, oh, I'm so glad I gave him a chance. Moving forward, he sort of disappeared, ghosted, that whole kind of whatever thing, and he resurfaced 3 days later, and he cancelled a few dates, and then resurfaced a few days later, and he had a huge confession that basically he's a great guy. He is exactly what I think he is. He is a dad by day, and he is a good gentleman type of person that he had been in one aspect of his life, but he has another part of him that literally drives him, and that is a desire to, what did he say, to multiple partners. What is it? I can't believe I forgot the word. Anyway, if I remember, I'll say it. But basically, he cannot be in a relationship with one person. He wants to have that loving, beautiful relationship with one person, but he needs to have. He's swinging. He's a swinger. He wants to have other relationships, other sexual relationships whilst in a relationship, and he's into the whole sort of BDSM thing. For those of you who don't know what it is, because when he sent me the message, I was like, what is it? Just to show you how ignorant I am of certain things. And if anyone's heard of the whole sort of grey, Mr. Grey, is pretty much that, and he likes that whole sort of world, and he's very heavily into it. And the reason he disappeared was because I am too pure of heart. That is not the first time I have been ghosted by men, because I am pure of heart. And that is why, girls, I always say to you, you know, maintain your integrity, maintain your truth, maintain your authenticity, because even if a player or a joker or somebody with a big secret comes to you and they feel that light and that vibration of authenticity, generally it puts them off. But what I share this story to say, and this is not the first time this has happened. Like I've said, it's happened multiple times, which is why your authenticity and your true to being yourself can be your greatest protection out there in the dating world. And so you know, I've had other stories that I don't have the time to share. Maybe I'll share them in other videos, but it's in those moments I realized why I wasn't attracted to that person, even though on paper everything was right. And this is not just about Chengi and me having some special discerning ability. It's actually true of all of us. There is something in us that makes us not attracted to somebody. And when we bypass that red flag, that inner voice that's saying, you are likely to put yourself and get yourself into a lot of trouble, or engage yourself emotionally and bond with somebody who is terrible for you. And I just want you to know that when you feel that feeling of I'm not into this person, even though they make sense on paper, even though everything about them reads great or reads correct, but something in me is saying no, then you need to pay attention to that, because usually there is a secret, there is something that is unhealthy for you. It's not to say that that person is a bad person, but that person will not be the right person for you. And so sometimes in our desperation and many voices that are speaking to us and our feelings of loneliness and we wanting to move on, we can allow ourselves to entertain that frequency and that vibration in our lives and find ourselves in a really sort of bad place. So this video is to say, pay attention to that voice on the inside of you that's kind of screaming, no, I don't think so. Ain't that kind of party. Okay, so don't override that. Listen to that voice. Listen, and don't let the voices without speak. Let the voice within speak. And if there's no attraction on a sexual level, if there's no attraction on a natural level, if there's no attraction spiritually, if there's just no attraction, zero attraction, tells you that this is not the right relationship for you. So I hope this was, and I'm not talking about I just have to find him sexy and I just have to, I believe that you can meet somebody and there's an attraction to them in some way, shape or form, and if you explore that, it can then it can overflow into different types of attraction. It can flow into a sexual attraction. But if there's zero attraction, nothing there, you just feel nothing but no, then you need to absolutely pay attention to that and don't override that, because that is your safety mechanism. That is God's way of keeping you safe. That is God's way of putting boundaries in your life so that you are safe, so that you don't walk into jeopardy, you don't walk into something that will hurt you. Now, if you think back to some of the relationships that you guys have been in, and you know that from the first day you met him, you were like, nah, I'm not feeling him, or there's something that just triggered something in you that said, look at where's that relationship now, what ended up happening now. Usually you know the nature of a relationship by the beginning of it. You know the nature of a relationship usually from hello. That feeling, if you pay attention to those inner vibrations, that inner voice on the inside of you, that's sort of saying, wait, slow down, red light, green light, then you will find that you are going to be safe. And you're better alone than being unsafe. That is emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So I hope this video was really helpful for you guys. I will see you guys soon in my next video. Love you lots. Make sure you see me on Instagram and Facebook. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share. Love you guys. Take care of yourself. Bye now.